The gate slams open and the light hits me like a wall. I do not remember walking forward. My legs just move, because staying still means death, and the crowd above me is already screaming for it. 10,000 eyes, maybe more. Rows of alien faces stacked into the dark, glowing with excitement, waiting to see if the human dies fast or slow. I am the only one of my kind standing on this sand today. That is the whole point. They do not bring humans here to fight. They bring us here to lose, so the galaxy can watch and laugh and feel better about looking down on us. My name is Daniel Ashworth. 3 months ago I was a cargo pilot. Now I am a number on a betting screen, and the number next to my name is small. Across the arena, a gate the size of a building groans upward, and something steps out that makes my stomach fold in on itself. They call it the wolf, not because it looks like one, but because of what it does to anyone put in front of it. It is taller than 2 men, built with muscle that ripples like it is barely contained by its own skin, and its eyes are a pale, burning gold. 40 fights, 40 wins. Nobody has ever made it past the second minute. The announcer's voice booms across the arena in a language I only half understand, but I catch my name, and I catch the wolf's title, and I catch the crowd's laughter. They are already placing bets on how quickly this will end. I grip the short blade they gave me, the only thing standing between me and nothing, and I force my breathing to slow. Before the gate closed behind me, I saw something through the bars of the holding pens. A woman, chained, barely conscious, her head hanging low, dried blood along her temple. Human, another one of us. A tag hung from her wrist, marked for a later fight, a warm-up for the wolf once it finished with me. I did not know her name. I did not have time to learn it. But something about the way she held her head, even while unconscious, even while broken, made my chest tighten. Proud, unbroken, even in defeat. I filed that feeling away, because right now, survival is the only thing that matters. The wolf begins to move. It does not charge like an animal. It stalks, low and controlled, each step precise, like it has done this so many times that killing has become nothing more than routine. The crowd leans forward. Somewhere above me, a countdown begins on a screen, ticking down the seconds until my inevitable end, because that is what always happens here. I plant my feet. Every instinct in me says run, but there is nowhere to run. So instead, I do the only thing that has ever worked for people like me. I refuse to make this easy. The wolf lunges, faster than something that size should be able to move, and I throw myself sideways, feeling the wind of its claws pass close enough to tear my sleeve. The crowd roars, not because they are impressed, but because blood almost came early. I roll, come up on one knee, and drive myself forward instead of back, because forward is the last thing it expects from something so much smaller. My blade catches its shoulder, a shallow cut, barely a scratch against something built for war, but it is enough to make the wolf pause. Just a heartbeat, just long enough for me to put distance between us again. The fight becomes a blur of movement. I do not have strength. I do not have claws or armor or 40 wins behind me. What I have is stubbornness, and a refusal to accept the ending they have already written for me. I dodge, I duck, I use the sand to blind it for half a second at a time, and every second I survive, the crowd's laughter grows quieter, replaced slowly by something that sounds almost like confusion. Then everything changes. Behind the wolf, at the edge of the arena wall, guards drag the wounded woman across the open floor, moving her toward a different holding gate. She is barely awake, her feet dragging in the sand, her wrists still bound. For a moment, her head lifts, weak and unsteady, and her eyes find the arena floor. The wolf stops. It does not stop like a predator pausing to recalculate an attack. It stops the way something stops when its entire world tilts sideways. Its head turns fully toward her, gold eyes locking onto her face, and for the first time since the gate opened, the enormous creature stands completely still. The arena, which moments ago screamed with bloodlust, falls into a silence so complete that I can hear my own heartbeat. Nobody moves. Not the guards, not the crowd, not me. The wolf takes one step toward her, ignoring me entirely, as if I have become nothing more than background noise. A low sound rises from its throat, not a growl, but something closer to a whimper, something almost pleading. I do not understand what I am watching, not yet, but every hair on my arm stands up anyway. The guards, confused by the break in expected behavior, try to force the wolf back toward me, using long control rods crackling with current. The moment the first rod touches its side, the wolf's calm shatters into fury, but not fury directed at the woman, and not fury directed at me. It turns on the guards instead, moving with a speed that sends them scrambling backward, and the arena erupts into chaos. I do not run. I know I should. Every survival instinct screams at me to use this confusion to escape while the guards are distracted. Instead, I find myself moving toward the woman, because whatever is happening, I understand one simple truth. She matters to that creature more than any of us understand, and if I leave her here, she will not survive what comes next. I reach her side just as one of the guards raises a weapon toward her exposed body, and without thinking, I put myself between them. The impact knocks me backward, but the armor plating across my chest absorbs most of it, leaving me gasping instead of finished. The wolf sees this. Something in its expression, if a creature like that can be said to have expression, shifts entirely. It turns from the guards toward the one who struck near her, and for the first time, I understand that this animal is choosing sides, and it has chosen hers, and by extension mine. Memories flash behind my eyes, not mine, but pieced together from things I have heard whispered among prisoners in the lower cells. Years ago, before the arena existed in its current form, the Dominion used human caretakers to raise and train these creatures from birth, believing our species understood loyalty and bonding in ways their own engineers could not replicate artificially. Handlers were assigned individually, care not competition, until the program was shut down and the Dominion decided humans were more valuable as opponents than caretakers. I look at the woman beside me, at the exhaustion carved into her face, at the way her fingers twitch weakly toward the massive creature standing over both of us like a wall between danger and safety, and I understand. She was one of them, a handler, and this wolf never forgot her. Her lips move, barely a whisper, but I catch a name, soft and broken, the kind of name someone gives to something they love, rather than something they own. The wolf's ears, if they can be called that, lower slightly at the sound, and the low sound in its throat returns, gentler this time. The guards regroup, more of them pouring from the tunnels now, weapons raised, shouting orders in a language sharp with panic. Whatever is happening on this arena floor was never supposed to happen, and their confusion is quickly turning into fear. I pull the woman further behind me, my blade raised uselessly against what is coming, knowing full well it will not be enough. But the wolf moves first. It positions itself directly between us and the incoming guards, lowering its massive frame into something between a crouch and a wall, muscles coiled, gold eyes burning with a warning that needs no translation. The guards hesitate. 40 wins. 40 times this creature has ended a fight without effort. None of them want to be the one who tests it while it is angry. Around the arena, the crowd's confusion turns into something louder, restless movement rippling through the stands as spectators argue among themselves, some standing, some shouting toward the guards, some simply staring in stunned silence at a fight that has stopped following any script they understand. I glance sideways and notice something else happening in the lower sections, near the holding pens where other captured fighters wait their turn. Word is spreading fast, whispered from cage to cage, human prisoners pressing against bars, other alien slave species doing the same, all of them watching the one thing none of them thought possible. A weapon built to destroy us, refusing to obey. The guards make their decision, they charge. What follows is not a fight I can describe cleanly, because it happens too fast, but I remember pieces. The wolf moving like something unleashed rather than commanded, guards forced backward, control rods knocked aside, shock weapons discharging into empty sand instead of flesh. I stay low, dragging the woman with me toward the arena wall, away from the worst of it, my only job now to keep her breathing. She stirs weakly against my shoulder, her voice cracking as she forces words out. She tells me the creature's name, whispers of years spent raising it from something small and frightened into what it has become, of the day the Dominion tried to end its life because it was considered defective, too gentle, too loyal, unsuitable for the arena they had planned. She tells me she stood between her superiors and the creature that day too, refusing to let them finish it, and that they punished her for it instead, sending her here, to this same arena, years later, as payment for that defiance. The wolf never forgot the sound of her voice, not through years of separation, not through everything they did to shape it into a killer. I feel something shift in my chest as she speaks, something I recognize from every story I grew up hearing about my own species, stories about loyalty that outlives captivity, about bonds formed in the worst possible circumstances that somehow refuse to break. The Dominion built this creature to be a weapon against us, training it with calculated precision, treating every living thing around it as nothing more than a tool to be used and discarded. They never accounted for kindness leaving a mark deeper than fear ever could. The chaos around us begins shifting into something organized, and I realize the disruption has done more than free one wolf from its handlers. Alarms sound from deeper within the complex, distant explosions rattling through the walls, and for a moment, I wonder if reinforcements have arrived, though not the kind the Dominion wants. A voice crackles through a comm device still clipped to one of the fallen guards near us, a voice speaking in accented but understandable words, warning that outside forces have breached the lower security gates, that this uprising has spread beyond the arena floor into the wider complex. Whoever is coming, they are coming fast, and they are not on the Dominion's side. The wolf finishes with the last of the nearby guards and turns back toward us, its massive chest heaving, gold eyes softening the moment they land on the woman again. It lowers its head slowly, nudging against her side with something close to gentleness, a stark contrast to the violence it displayed only moments earlier. I help her sit up properly, her back against the arena wall, and she lifts a trembling hand to rest against the creature's face, murmuring something too quiet for me to catch. The wolf leans into her palm like something starved for exactly this, for years, finally given the chance to remember what it felt like before everything became about fighting and survival. Around us, the arena has descended into full disorder. Spectators flee the stands in confusion, guards retreat toward reinforced positions, and somewhere beyond the outer walls, the sound of distant fighting grows louder, closer, more organized by the second. I do not know who is coming, whether allies from beyond this system have finally arrived, or whether this uprising is simply the beginning of something larger that will take days or weeks to resolve. What I do know, sitting here in the sand with a wounded woman leaning against me and a creature built to end my life instead choosing to guard it, is that something fundamental just changed in the way this arena, this system, this entire corner of the galaxy sees my species. They built creatures like this one believing that loyalty could be manufactured, trained, controlled entirely through fear and conditioning. They never understood that the humans they dismissed as weak, as unworthy of true combat, carried something within us that no amount of engineering could replicate. We do not simply survive captivity. We form bonds within it that refuse to be erased, bonds strong enough to turn their own weapons against them. The woman beside me finally opens her eyes fully, focusing on my face for the first time, confusion and exhaustion mixing with something like gratitude. She asks my name, her voice barely more than a breath, and I tell her, and she smiles faintly despite everything happening around us. The wolf settles beside both of us, its massive body curling protectively around our small huddled group, gold eyes scanning the chaos for any threat that dares come close. For the first time since that gate opened and light hit me like a wall, I feel something other than fear settle into my chest. Somewhere above the arena, cameras still broadcast this moment to screens across the galaxy, capturing an image the Dominion never wanted anyone to see. A weapon refusing its masters, a wounded woman protected instead of destroyed, a human standing his ground not through strength, but through the same stubborn loyalty that built this bond in the first place. They wanted the galaxy to watch humans lose today. Instead, they gave the galaxy something far more dangerous to watch. They gave them proof that whatever they thought they understood about our species was wrong from the very beginning, and that lesson, once seen, can never be unseen again.